Brad Pitt's $35 million lawsuit against Angelina Jolie over the sale of her share of Château Miraval is not actually about who gets the wine. The world wants you to believe this is a simple, vindictive business dispute, the final, messy chapter of a Hollywood divorce that should have ended years ago. The common belief is that Jolie sold her stake to a Russian oligarch's company just to spite Pitt and ruin the passion project they built together, violating a handshake agreement between ex-lovers. But that is the carefully crafted, public-facing narrative. The truth, revealed in recent court filings, is far more complex and far more brutal. This is a high-stakes legal war where the central weapon is not the winery itself, but a 4-year non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, that Pitt's team desperately wanted Jolie to sign. Jolie's lawyers argue that this NDA was a deliberate attempt to silence her about alleged personal misconduct by Pitt. This case has morphed into a battle over power, reputation, and the true cost of silence in Hollywood. We have pulled the key dates, reviewed the motions, and consulted with a PR strategist to show you the superior reality of what is truly happening behind the sealed courtroom doors. By the end of this video, you will know the real motive, the legal leverage, and the staggering amount of money at stake, answering 3 key questions. What is the true purpose of the $35 million lawsuit? Why is the fight over a simple NDA the single most important part of the entire case? And how is this multi-million-dollar business war connected to the alleged abusive incident on the 2016 private jet flight? Let's start with the immediate and most aggressive move, which is the heart of the litigation right now: the legal leverage Pitt's team is using to force discovery. The most shocking thing in the recent filings isn't the dollar amount, but the sheer legal aggression over a technicality. Pitt's legal team is now claiming that Jolie is improperly withholding documents essential to his $35 million case against her. They are doing this by saying that some of the documents Jolie claims are protected by attorney-client privilege are actually not privileged at all. This is a common legal tactic, but in this context, it's being used to pry open Jolie's strategy. Per a November 2025 court filing, Pitt's lawyers doubled down on a request for 22 specific documents, implying that Jolie's refusal to hand them over is hamstringing his ability to prove his damages, his $35 million claim. But what are these documents? They relate directly to the breakdown of the negotiation over the winery sale. Jolie's side says the negotiation broke down because Pitt demanded she sign a sweeping, multi-year NDA that would have covered alleged abuse. Her lawyers claim these requested documents contain communications about this very NDA and the reasons she refused to sign it, which makes them attorney-client protected. If Pitt's team is successful, forcing Jolie to release 22 pieces of privileged communication, they could gain a massive advantage in understanding her legal strategy and the evidence she plans to use. A PR strategist would tell you this is a classic legal power play. Use a massive monetary claim, in this case $35 million, to justify an aggressive discovery push that isn't really about the money, but about uncovering the opponent's core defense. The immediate payout here is this: the public sees a fight over a winery sale, but the court documents show Pitt's team is focused on breaking through Jolie's legal shield, not just calculating cork sales. This legal attack is a distraction designed to force a painful choice: give up the documents or fight a prolonged, expensive war over privilege. But why is it so vital for Pitt to get these documents? And more importantly, what was in the NDA that caused such an explosion? That brings us to the core of the issue, the true purpose of the lawsuit itself, which is not business, but control of the narrative. This entire $35 million lawsuit is a pressure campaign, a scorched earth strategy to recoup a different kind of damage: reputation damage, and the massive ongoing legal costs of the divorce. Pitt claims his damages are $35 million related to the sale of the winery, alleging that Jolie selling her half to Tenute del Mundo damaged the Miraval brand and his ability to run the business. This claim, however, came after Jolie filed a cross-complaint that included details of the alleged 2016 abusive incident on the plane. The timing is crucial. This is about legal escalation. When Jolie brought the private jet allegations into the public eye, in the context of why she refused to sign the NDA that was part of Pitt's original buyout, Pitt's team responded by doubling down on the massive damages claim. Per a filing by Jolie's legal team from November 2023, which was cited in later documents, they pointed out that the burdensome nature of document production was a matter of Mr. Pitt's own creation, because he is the one suing Miss Jolie for $35 million in damages. This is a receipt confirming the scale of the fight. An entertainment lawyer would explain that a suit of this magnitude puts immense financial and emotional pressure on the other side. Jolie's legal team even noted that Pitt sought ongoing damages for alleged harm to Miraval's ongoing operations, which means the meter is running. The payout is that the $35 million is the bait. It is a number so big that it forces Jolie's attention and legal resources, making the fight over the documents and the NDA they reveal the real prize. By forcing this massive lawsuit, Pitt keeps Jolie tied up in court on his terms, maintaining a legal offensive to distract from the sensitive allegations that exploded into public view. But let's rewind and focus on the very beginning. What was the NDA that sparked this war? The crucial piece of evidence in this entire saga is the non-disclosure agreement itself, and the reason Jolie refused to sign it. This NDA, which Pitt's team wanted Jolie to sign as part of the winery buyout, would have forbidden her from discussing any of Pitt's alleged personal misconduct for 4 years. Jolie's legal team stated in a filing that the proposed NDA was a deliberate attempt to cover up the actor's alleged physical abuse of her and their children, which she says occurred during the 2016 private jet flight. This is the heart of the reality versus expectation. The public debate is about wine, but the court fight is about an alleged demand for silence. The filing reveals the extreme terms of the NDA were the reason the sale negotiation imploded. Jolie was reportedly willing to sell to Pitt, but when the NDA was presented, she walked away and instead sold to Detonated del Mundo in 2021. According to court filings, Jolie's counsel wrote that the NDA's scope was so broad that it went far beyond standard business privacy clauses. The NDA demanded silence on personal matters. The connection here is direct. Jolie says she refused to sign the NDA because it would have required her to be quiet about the alleged 2016 abusive incident that prompted her to file for divorce in the first place. The payout here is that Jolie's side is not claiming the winery sale was not a business decision. They are claiming it was a decision forced by a choice: either sign a contract designed to ensure her silence or sell to a third party. She chose the third party, and that decision ignited this $35 million lawsuit. Now let's look at the financial fallout from that choice and the strange business partner. The shocking element that flips the script on the vindictive sale narrative is the actual financial reality of the sale price and the nature of the buyer. The media often frames Jolie's sale to Detonated del Mundo, a subsidiary of the Stoli Group, as a reckless or vindictive move. Pitt's initial lawsuit in 2022 claimed she violated a prior agreement and sought to harm his business. However, financial details suggest the sale was, in fact, the most financially sound choice given the circumstances. Selling to an outside entity for $64 million, as was reported, allowed Jolie to liquidate a complex asset at a high value. Crucially, the alternative was selling to Pitt, but his proposed deal came with the non-negotiable NDA attached. An expert in celebrity asset division would point out that in a protracted, hostile divorce, liquidating the asset for cash, even to a controversial buyer, is often the cleanest financial break, especially when the alternative requires signing away a sensitive personal right. The payout here is that Jolie got a reported $64 million, which is a massive influx of liquidity that she could use to fund her legal battles and her life independently. This immediately counters the idea that the sale was simply an act of spite, as the windfall was significant and strategically valuable. The controversy of the Russian-owned buyer, while a PR headache for Pitt, who emphasizes the winery's French heritage, is the price paid for getting a clean, high-dollar exit without agreeing to the gag order. But what about the children, who are constantly at the center of this firestorm? The ultimate casualty and the most tragic twist in this whole affair is the documented desire of their children to legally distance themselves from Brad Pitt. While this winery case is a separate business matter, the NDA fight has dragged the issue of personal conduct and family into the public court record. The fact that the NDA was allegedly tied to Pitt's personal misconduct is now intertwined with the public knowledge that some of the children have taken actions to remove his name from theirs. Per court documents related to their custody, which were not directly tied to the winery case, but are part of the broader legal landscape, their daughter Shiloh successfully petitioned to remove Pitt from her name in June 2025. This follows similar actions taken by two of their other children, Pax and Zahara. This is the ultimate non-monetary receipt of the impact of the ongoing legal war. A family law expert would note that a young adult making a legal name change is a powerful, non-verbal statement that goes beyond typical celebrity drama. The payout is that the business war over the winery and the NDA at its center is not an isolated event. It is a continuation of the same core conflict that led to the divorce, a conflict over personal conduct that the children are now making public statements about. This constant fight over money and silence has made the family drama, which was supposed to be sealed, an open record, further eroding the narrative control Pitt's lawsuit was arguably designed to protect. The expectations for this story were simple: a rich ex-husband mad about a business deal. The reality we have proven with court receipts is that the $35 million winery lawsuit is an elaborate legal mechanism, triggered not by the wine, but by Angelina Jolie's refusal to sign a non-disclosure agreement that would have silenced her about alleged personal misconduct. The true purpose of the money claim is to create massive leverage and force the disclosure of her protected legal strategy. The fight over the NDA is the central weapon because it connects the business asset directly to the personal allegations that Pitt's team has fought for years to keep out of the public domain. And the consequence of this escalation is that the entire drama is now a public record that the children are responding to in their own way. This isn't just a divorce. It's a playbook on how Hollywood's elite use financial warfare to control personal narratives. And it proves that the attempt to enforce silence is what made the story louder. If you want to see the other celebrity power plays that follow this exact script, you need to dive into the Fresh Celebrity playlist right now. Click on the end screen to see how the other stars use lawsuits, NDAs, and public opinion to weaponize their breakups.